Good evening, hockey fans, and welcome to another episode of Snipe, Celly. My name is Dan Bradley. Alongside me tonight, as always, Joel Fernino. Joel, how are you doing tonight, bud?
Well, hello there.
It has been a very odd day today.
It is voting day.
Tuesdays tend to be.
It is voting day, so those are usually odd.
Yep, it's election day. It's been a weird
day. Go
vote! Go vote. If it's not too late for you, wherever you happen to be listening, if you're listening live,
I don't care.
If you're listening on demand, we hope that you are at least willing to accept the election results, even if you don't necessarily agree with them. I think that's probably the safest way to put that for today.
Yeah.
And that's all the politics we get into. We don't do politics on this show. We try to avoid that.
Damn right we don't do politics.
We try to stay in our lane and stick to sports until such time as there's a necessary discussion of overlap between the two.
The only time we ever talked politics or still talk politics is when it involves legalizing sports gambling in a state. But my state legalized it, so I'm good.
Well, way to kind of tease 2 minutes for roughing here. So we're I guess who's got that one tonight?
You didn't tell me that beforehand. Okay,
I didn't. I decided it during our opening monologue here, like as the intro video was rolling. HP chiming in. What's up, pheasants? It's almost DB's bachelor party weekend, and I couldn't be more pumped. I could not be more pumped either. It is going to be an absolute blast. I can't wait to see what all you guys have planned.
Oh, you have no idea. You have some idea, but you don't have all idea. And also, I will make this proclamation. My liver is prepared. I just hope your liver is prepared.
Yeah, that makes one of us. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean,
MN Wild Talk chiming in as well. Sup boy.
MN
Wild Talk, thanks for joining the show. Sorry, HP also saying his liver is not ready to go. So
oh my god, you're 2 years older than me. Let's go. Jesus.
I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll have fun.
I might bring something very special.
Oh man, I got something I want to say, but I can't say it on the show. So
what do you mean you can't say it?
We'll leave it.
All right. I don't know where you were going with that, but
well, we do have a very fun show for you tonight, starting with the one and only Alex Ovechkin,
the GOAT,
the goal-scoring GOAT, one of the most elite hockey players of all time, setting an incredible record, the most goals in NHL history with a single franchise. He's closing in on Gretzky's all-time mark. He's closing in on 800 for his career, which, I mean, at the start of his career, when he was first coming into the NHL, people raved about Ovechkin and how, he is going to be an instant, like a generational talent. And I feel like that word gets thrown around a little too much nowadays. But Ovechkin has 100% lived up to that. 788 career goals is where he's at. So 12 more to get to 800. And he's only looking up at two names in front of him on the all-time list with Gordie Howe and with the great one, Wayne Gretzky.
It's so fun to look at that list. I have a specific list up that's tracking it. So yeah, he's at 788. It's also fun too. Like he just passed Gordie Howe's record of scoring the most goals with one team, and in 12 goals from now. So let's say that's probably. I say he passes Gordie Howe on this list. Just goals all time. I say he passes him by. What's today? What's today's date?
Today is November 8th, 2022.
I think he passes it. I want to give like an exact date. Well, how many goals is he at right now on this?
He's at 788.
No. I mean on the season. This season.
Oh, this season? 8 goals through 14 games. Which again, he's going to hit 50 this year.
Oh, yeah,
that's what he does. He just hits 50 goals pretty much every year.
So he's
save for a pandemic or a lockout. Which, knock on wood, we're not heading towards either of those again anytime soon.
Yeah, I'd like to think that we won't be either.
So 801 to tie Gordie Howe, 894 to get to Gretzky. So
I think he breaks it by just let me get a date real quick here. I'm going to call that he will break and solidify himself in second place, not tie. I'm not going to say when he ties it, but he will break it.
Wait, are we talking Gretzky's record, or are we talking?
No. Gordie Howe. He's gonna
when he's gonna pass Gordie Howe for second. Okay,
so
yes.
I was saying it's funny how he passed Gordie Howe for the one with a franchise, and he's gonna end up doing it again. He's gonna pass Gordie Howe in 2 different records in one season. But I say he's gonna pass Gordie Howe and take over second, sole place of second on January. Let's go 24th. Or whenever they have a game around that time. So like the last week of January, I say he breaks it.
You know what? I like that so much. And I think, hockey history works in very interesting ways.
That's true. The hockey gods are very interesting. Fun, but interesting.
I think because he only needs 13 more goals to get there.
And he's got 12 games into the season, or 13, however many we're at this point.
I feel like just going ahead and looking at the Capitals' schedule, the Great 8 on January 8th at home against the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think that could be the day that it happens.
I was going to say, like, now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm like, wait, we are really only 13 games max into the season now, 13, 14 maybe.
Yeah.
I actually think I overshot. I'm with you.
I feel like he absolutely could do it before then. It wouldn't surprise me, but there would just be something poetic. Maybe even in the same game on the 8th, he gets a hat trick, 800, 801, and 802, and just rattles them all off in that same game on the 8th.
The hockey gods have very interesting ways of working. They're not that crazy.
I don't know, man.
Maybe he gets a hat trick the game he breaks it, but I don't think it'll go exactly like those 3 goals of that game.
On the 8th, I mean, that would be amazing.
Oh, on the 8th, I'm with you.
I don't think that it'll take that long. I think he might even get it before then. But there would just be something poetic about him doing that on the 8th.
I know. I like that. I think 13 goals by the 8th. Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
let's both lock it in.
Even further here, and I'm not seeing, a game against Pittsburgh before then either.
Well, that would
which is odd. I mean, they play tomorrow, which we'll discuss later in the show, but then they don't play again against Pittsburgh until January 26th after that. So they go
also that was close
all of December, all of January, pretty much.
Yeah.
2 months without seeing Pittsburgh.
So it was close to my original date, but that's an overshot. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm gonna say he breaks it on the 8th. Who do they play on the 8th?
Columbus.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm not surprised in the slightest. I mean, I love Alex Ovechkin. It's amazing. I am still sitting here because I'd like to. I wonder. There's probably a lot of people that are still kind of like, I don't know if you want to say skeptical of like, oh, he's gonna pat. I am going to. I said it. I believe I actually said it on one of our first episodes we ever did of Pod Snipe Celly. I am going to not jump off that. I will die on the hill, just like you're going to incorrectly die on the hill of the whole Justin Fields thing. Oh, I will be dying on the hill that he is going to pass the great one.
I agree.
I think he's going to pass Gretzky, and Gretzky wants him to pass him.
He does. And I think whether or not he does actually pass Gretzky, what Alex Ovechkin has done over the course of his career, he is the greatest goal scorer in the history of the NHL, period.
No question.
Because to me, you can talk different eras, you can talk different equipment. Even when Gretzky set the goal-scoring record, he was still much more a points guy. He was the assist guy. And if you took away every goal he ever scored in his career, he would still have the all-time points record just on his assists.
Yep.
If you are talking just pure goal-scoring ability,
there's no argument.
Yeah.
Who the hell is anyone going to argue that could still be considered a better goal scorer than Ovechkin has been.
I would hear arguments for a couple of players who had their careers cut short. Those being guys like Mario Lemieux and Mike Bossy.
Yeah.
Just wondering with, if they don't get hurt, get sick,
right,
what happens to their careers. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to the best ability is availability. You got to be able to stay on the ice. And for the most part, Ovechkin has done that in his career. But I have to think as well, he's had 2 lockouts in his career, costing him a season and a half.
Yep.
Had the pandemic, which took out chunks of about another 40 regular season games, roughly.
He's never really had a significant injury, has he?
He hasn't.
He's just had little nagging
which is amazing for how physical he plays too, for being a goal scoring guy.
He's a tank.
Yeah.
So
you look at the guys who, have scored, the most goals since 2010, and his hit total is like bigger than the next 5 guys on that scoring list combined.
I know. And it's just been so fun to see his evolution too, because there was obviously the hate of like, all he can do is score goals. He can't lead his team to a Stanley Cup. He obviously completely destroyed that. Hell, I mean, he's still, I still think that they can, you know what? That's actually a good question. I'm curious. Do you think he wins one more cup before he retires?
That's a good question.
He's not going anywhere else. If he
stays in Washington for the rest of his career, I say no. If he decides to go somewhere else, I think he's got a shot, but I don't see Washington there. And then Wild Talk with a comment here as well. Matthews will have the scoring record by the time he retires. I don't know about that one. I
don't know.
I like Matthews' game.
Matthews is too much of a pussy.
He's a very good goal scorer in his own right, but he also and like
with a mustache, I see
like some similarities with Matthews to Crosby early in his career, where Crosby was the type of player who, couldn't. If you got too close to his hands, he would lash out and dive and embellish and whine, and people didn't like him for that. So, I understand people who don't like Matthews because they see that similarity. I don't think it's to the degree that Crosby was early in his career.
It's not. I'm joking. He's not a bitch.
Talk to Flyer fans. Talk to Flyer fans about it, and then get back to me because they are.
I like to make fun of Toronto Maple Leafs.
It's the low hanging fruit, but you still gotta you gotta rip the Leafs whenever you can.
It's the low hanging fruit, but why not grab that fruit first?
Exactly.
But will Matthews maybe be top 10? Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I don't see with how well Ovechkin has played throughout his career and how few players, we've seen 2 players right now in the history of the league get to 800 goals. Ovechkin is on track to be the 3rd, but there's, he could have a career-ending injury tomorrow and not get there. And it would suck. And we would hate it so much.
Yeah. And I'm actually going to speak for the rest of the community. How dare you even put that bad juju?
Yeah. I don't want to. I didn't even want to say that sentence.
Rewind. Do we have a dump button?
Run it back.
Yeah. Do we have a dump button? Are we on a 10-second delay?
No, we are not. We are live as we are every Tuesday night at
see what I did there? See what I did
7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. That's what we do here.
The plug. So I was going back and looking at the 2004 draft because obviously he went first overall, but man, I was just thinking about I was like, all right, I want to see who was second overall, third, fourth. I wanted to see what teams, and I'm like, man, if things go a little differently, any of those 4 teams, right? And right after Ovechkin was Pittsburgh with Evgeny Malkin.
Yeah. You want to talk about 2 franchise-changing players in the same draft class like that.
And then third was us. My God, if we would have sucked just a little harder that year, just a little harder.
I can cheer for Ovechkin because he's with Washington and he's not in the Western Conference. If Ovechkin played for the Hawks, I couldn't root for him. I
That's
really
not.
couldn't.
But here's the thing. I wouldn't change getting Taves and Kane for the world. And if we had gotten Ovechkin, I don't think we would have been bad enough to get Taves or Kane. We wouldn't have been amazing
Probably fair.
yet, but
Who did the Hawks take with that pick?
I was getting to that. You're
Oh
gonna love
boy.
it. You're gonna love it.
Wait, is it who I think it is?
With the third overall pick in the 2004
I'm about
NHL
to get
draft,
triggered here. Trigger warning.
the Chicago Blackhawks selected Cam Barker
Oh!
from the Medicine Hat Tigers. That's not a team. That's not a team anymore.
Aren't they?
Is it? I've never heard of them. If
Pretty
they
sure
are
they are.
in the WHL,
Yeah.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah, they still are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've all the franchise modes in the NHL games. I've never seen the Medicine Hat Tigers before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
Well, you usually start your be a pro at the pros.
No, I
go
don't.
through the CHL season, don't you?
Oh, I go through the CHL season. That's way more fun. Or at least you go through the Calder Cup. That's fun too.
We've got a chirp from MN Wild Talk here. How do you feel about your team since they're failing at tanking? We discussed that on a previous show. Joel, do you want to kind of give your thoughts on that since we got the question here for it?
Back up. Is that the first time we've ever been like truly chirped by like not HP? Because I love that. I absolutely love that.
It's certainly up there. I mean, Joey's got in a few. Usually, it's Seth Jones jokes when Joey is trying
MN what? Like, please keep those. I love that. Yeah. I want to be chirped. I don't want
especially if you're chirping Joel. We love that.
Yeah, I don't want you to be respectful towards me. No, but yeah, I'm enjoying the ride. I'm not getting like actively pissed that we're failing at tanking. We have I just checked, we have fallen out of a playoff spot finally. we finally fell out of a playoff spot, but
yeah, we kind of knew that one was coming, unfortunately.
Yeah, at 5-5-2. I don't know, like, yeah, I would like to see us, this is weird saying this, I would like to see us completely just fall off not the wagon. I just want to see us fall off the damn cliff, because any chance to get Connor Bedard here, hell yeah. I'm not actively like cheering for losses. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, that just means clearly that between the coaching and some of the new guys we're bringing in, like, we're not as far off as everyone thought. So it's kind of like it's a win-win in a way. I don't mind. I obviously don't want to see us make the playoffs because that's not going to happen anyway. But like,
no.
But yeah, I feel. It is what it is. I have fun watching them when they win, and I'm not one of those guys going on Twitter like, "What the hell? We suck at sucking. This is crap." Why? I don't care. Like, well, it is what it is.
Even if the Hawks don't win the Connor Bedard sweepstakes, there are about 5 other players available after Bedard that would probably go first overall pretty much any other year.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I would say, I guess the other thing too, I will be very. I don't want to say mad. I will definitely be disappointed if we don't land a top 5 pick. If we're outside the top 5,
I mean,
that means either one of two things, and I would really hope it would mean the latter of these two things. One, it would just mean the lottery was not in our favor. Or 2, it means we were way better than we were supposed to be. Still missed the playoffs and still got into the lottery, but
there's a third option, and that is that you finish with the, like, say, 5th worst record. You have the 5th best lottery odds, but then 2 teams behind that finished better than the Hawks in the standings jump in the lottery.
That's what I'm saying. The lottery the lottery like doesn't go in our favor. Regardless of where we're at, it just doesn't go in our favor.
Okay.
Yeah. I would of those 2 scenarios, if we're out of the top 5, I'd rather it be, oh wow, they're actually like very eerily mediocre. Like maybe they're closer to building something than than maybe we're 3 years away as opposed to 5. Like
we've got Samantha chiming in and saying tank for Bedard.
That's fair. I mean, well, I mean, that's probably a really good segue to, are the Blues tanking for Bedard?
Yeah, we want to get into that one too. I mean, like, you talk about a team that has underperformed so far this season. The St. Louis Blues. I mean, my goodness.
And I love every damn second of it.
Oh, you absolutely are you're giddy
Oh,
with how bad St. Louis is this season. 3-7-0, a 7-game losing streak, minus 16 goal differential, 3 points behind the Arizona Coyotes in the standings, dead last in the NHL, tied with the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Can you say Can you say the behind who they're behind again, really quick for me?
Yes, let me make this loud and clear.
Oh yes,
3 points behind the Arizona Coyotes.
Oh man, just
every
Hawks fan listening to this on demand, specifically on Spotify or Apple Music, just take that in. Just let it sink in and just bring that smile. Yeah, let that one marinate. I suggest you let that one marinate.
And while talking now, the Blues are just pulling their 2019 strategy.
I'm actually really glad. Man, me and MN Wild Talk are vibing today.
I love it. I'm here for it.
That's awesome. So I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking about that before we started the show, and I knew I was going to bring that up. That is like the one fear that I had looking at the standings, checking, like seeing how bad they've been. And I thought about their 2019 strategy, because by January 1st, they were dead last in the league. And what did they do? They won the Stanley Cup. However,
one more comment here.
You got to be terrible to be behind the Coyotes. Good God. You're damn right. You're damn right. When you kick the Coyotes out of their basement bedroom, that's not good.
If the Blues end up with Bedard, I'm going to lose my mind.
If the Blues end up with Bedard, I might quit. I quit hockey at that point.
I mean, you look at this team, like, it's not like they're riddled with injuries. I mean, losing Scott Perunovich, yeah, that hurts. Losing Marco Scandella, he's your 6th or 7th D-man on St. Louis. So that's not, it's not losing your top defenseman. It's not losing your starting goaltender, your leading scorer. But man, the vibe is in shambles in St. Louis right now.
Yeah, and you look it up and down, like, you kind of have some of the usual suspects at least putting up the points they should be. Tarasenko's off to a decent start, 4 goals and 5 assists. Braden Shen is doing Braden Shen things with 3 goals and 7 assists. Mm-hmm. Justin Falk is actually there. He's tied for first in points on the Blues with 3 goals and 7 assists as well, but Robert Thomas as well. But like, after that, like, I'd say pretty disappointing season right now for Jordan Kyrou.
Yeah, he has been one of the biggest busts, I would say, for this season. Next season.
Go ahead.
Next season is when his 8 by 8.125 mil extension kicks in.
Again, music to my ears.
Look, I like Kyrou. I think
I like him as a player.
Hockey player, just off to a very bad start to the season. If Bitter wasn't a psycho, they would be doing. Binnington is nuts.
Oh,
like, goalies are weird. Binnington is on another level of goalie weird.
He really is. And here's the thing: Jordan Binnington just has his Matt Murray mask on at this point.
Kinda, yeah.
He powered them. He looked like an absolute goalie god in a playoff push. Won them a Stanley Cup. Now, granted, how much of that was their grinding style of play and their really solid defense that year? But after that, he's just turned out to be absolute shit. And where they had a potential answer, Ville Husso is now in Detroit.
Yeah. I was admittedly a little surprised to see that they didn't try and work something around to keep Ville Husso there.
Looking real bad right now, isn't it?
It is. And I mean, I understand it was a very tight cap situation because they had to lock up Kyrou. They not getting that done wouldn't have been an option. Same with Robert Thomas, who had a phenomenal season last year and is also
he's off to a good start now. Yeah.
These are guys that the Blues are counting on to be their core. Because you look at their guys who have been their leaders. They let David Perron walk, also to Detroit with Ville Husso. Ryan O'Reilly, wrong side of 30. Vladimir Tarasenko, wrong side of 30. Braden Shen, wrong side of 30. Not to mention, O'Reilly and Tarasenko are both unrestricted free agents after this season. Joel, if you're St. Louis and you're maybe you're at the bottom of the barrel or a bottom 5 team come January. Do you look into trading Tarasenko and Ryan O'Reilly?
Absolutely. Those two would be probably arguably the top 5 hottest commodities at the deadline if they are for sure going to click that button and say we are going to be sellers at the deadline. Like,
I
are
think
you
those
kidding?
two have to be up there. And
Those
I think
returns the Blues would get for either of them, because you insert one of those two, either of those two, onto a cup contending team, that cup contending team just got a massive boost.
it's not going to happen. And I'm saying that right now, so we're very clear. It's not going to happen. I would absolutely love if somehow Ryan O'Reilly ended up on the Wild this season. It's not going to happen, but I would absolutely love it.
Dude, that would be – I love me some Ryan O'Reilly. Like, that's the problem. I hate the Blues, but they get some players where I'm like, I've always loved Vladimir Tarasenko, even though he is the Blackhawk killer. I love Vladimir Tarasenko. Ryan O'Reilly, I've loved him ever since he was in Buffalo.
We got another good comment from Sam here. The Blues AHL team is in 6th place currently as well, 6 out of 8 in the Central Division.
So what you're telling me, Sam, is that their farm team ain't looking so hot either.
No, it's
they don't have a lot of answers in the farm, let alone currently up on the main roster.
Yeah, it's a really rough start for St. Louis, and I think
keep this coming. Can this segment just last like 3 hours? Because
we can milk this for another 15 minutes if we want to do that, and then get to Wednesday night picks from there.
Yeah, I might need to towel off after this segment. I mean, I'm loving this.
Yeah, and then Wild talk with me as well. I don't want to pay the cost to acquire O'Reilly, even though he would rock. Yeah, that's the big thing. The Wild can't afford A, with the cap situation, and B, with the prospects that they would have to give up to a division rival and still not necessarily even be able to re-sign O'Reilly. But man, if we're talking pipe dreams, like that would be such a good fit for the Wild.
What about, and I hate this because this is a division rival in you guys, but what about Tarasenko and putting him and Kaprizov on the same line? Did I just?
Here's the thing.
Are you going to be okay?
Up Kaprizov with Zuccarello.
I get it.
Those two need to be on the same line, and none of those three could play center.
Well, I understand that,
but the
two countrymen together is where I'm going.
That would be phenomenal. And I think, you run a power play that is, let's say, Joel Eriksson-Ek, Kaprizov, Zuccarello, Kalen Addison, and Vladimir Tarasenko. That power play is running a 40% clip.
Yeah.
like fight me. And then you can move Matt Boldy down to power play 2.
You've also joined the ranks of who needs defense when we have this powerful of an offense, except you have a defense.
Do we though?
You have more of a defense than Toronto, let's be honest.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. But also, I will throw this out there that the Wild's defense has been rough, uncharacteristically rough.
I know, and I'm not saying they're not performing, but by the numbers and what they are supposed to be much better. So,
right. And I think they'll figure it out. I think we had some guys come into camp that were still dealing with kind of some nagging injuries, and anytime you have that going into camp, that makes it tough.
Yep.
And with Fleury, his first full season with the Wild after coming over last season, they had to shake the pairings up a little bit. I was still really surprised by the Alex Goligoski extension as well. That to me was just a weird move. But I think the Wild are in okay shape. The Blues, though, do you see the Blues turning it around to make the playoffs? I want to ask you that question.
Do you want me to answer with my heart or with my brain?
Yes, both.
Okay. Heart right off the bat, absolutely not. Brain, the problem is you look at the names on the roster and it's like, oh yeah, also, you know what? Wait, really quick. It's an inside job because they have Nick Leddy and Brandon Saad. They're always going to be Blackhawks at heart. So it's an inside job.
On a slightly related note there, you got another chirp. How does it feel to be a fan of the team that rebuilt the Blue Jackets prospect pool?
It's fair. Yeah. It's very fair. You mean what? Wait, not the team. Stan Bowman's gone. I'm not a fan of him. That was Stan Bowman rebuilding their pool.
And our buddy Jesse with Flyers Alley saying Blues are going down tonight. Blues are playing the Flyers, who Carter Hart late scratch in that one. He's
what's a man rocket?
It's a rocket, but it's a man. It's a man rocket.
I appreciate that.
He's right. You are a man rocket.
I'm just feeling the love.
There you go.
But back to reality. I am totally with you. The Flyers are going to destroy the Blues tonight.
I sure hope so. The Carter Hart thing worries me, though, dude.
Kinda hot.
Not in the lineup tonight. Sickness, it sounded like. I haven't heard an official announcement. And Jesse, if you're still, or Sam, either of you are tuning in to still watching the show to give us a heads up on who is going. If it's going to be Sandstrom or the guy that they called up from the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. I haven't heard a starter announced, but they are going to be starting here any minute. Sam is saying that Sandstrom is going to start, so that makes sense. I'm not too surprised by that. I've heard some rumors and some rumblings. I hope that there's nothing more serious going on with Hart than that. Just a case of the flu or the Jonathan Huberdeau's.
Yeah.
I hope it's nothing more serious.
No, I agree. But I still think, I would absolutely put it on the Flyers to take out the Blues tonight and hand them their 8th loss in a row. I am full Flyers fan tonight at this point.
Yeah, we're just kind of dunking on the Hawks here a little bit as well. I both love and hate the Hawks' first 2 picks this year. That being Korchinski and Frankie Nazar, right?
Yes.
Was the other one? Yeah.
Yep.
I love Nazar, dude.
Then
he's going to be such a stud.
This is bad on me for not remembering the third one later
Sam
on.
Rinzel.
Sam Rinzel, thank you.
Sam Rinzel. I got you on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I always remember Korchinski and Nazar, but I can't. I got to remember Sam Rinzel.
Yeah, love them because they rock, hate because they're on the Hawks. Yeah, that's fair.
I am excited for everything I hear about all 3 of them, but lately Korchinski, I've been hearing some really good things about his season down on his minor league team right now. But I'm excited for him.
Yeah, the Hawks are in pretty good shape with their prospect pool. I'm not gonna lie, it's
kind of why I'm not really. That's right. He is. That's right.
That's why I told you I wasn't going to forget him on that list.
No, yeah, I knew one of them was a Minnesota kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rinzel, you're going to like him a lot.
Like that's fine. You guys produce some damn good players, so I'm cool with it.
I could see potentially him and Korchinski being line mates, where Korchinski kind of runs the show a little bit more offensively, and Rinzel is kind of your shutdown guy. I could see that. I think they're both right shots though, so don't quote me on that. But they could, and that's the core you're building around. So
hot take city. Could they be our next Keith and Seabrook?
I mean, it's possible. I'm not going to say it's not.
I'm not going to say it will be, but
they're high ceiling guys. I think you'll be very happy. Like that's a pretty high level, but that's a tall pairing too. Yeah.
God, this whole episode, I'm just all the Blues bashing. Now we're talking about the prospect pool. God, I love it. And we're talking about the Flyers beating the shit out of the Blues tonight. Oh God.
It's good vibes on the show tonight. I'm feeling it.
I'm loving it. Oh God.
As we talk about the vibes too, like, have you ever seen a team that was just on an absolute heater and maybe even overperforming, like what we talked about last week, and then absolutely nuke themselves, like what the Boston Bruins have done with this Mitchell Miller situation? We got to talk about it. I hate that we have to talk about it,
but we do.
It should not have been something we have to talk about, but here we are, and we're going to have to talk about it for at least a couple minutes here. I don't want to spend too long on it. Not more than 5 minutes, because we got 4 games to get to tomorrow night for Wednesday night picks. But real quick, I have never seen a team so unilaterally disagree with a decision that someone in the front office made, just as an entire organization. as
Yeah.
quickly as it was. Like they tried to sneak it in as like a hey Friday news dump. Nobody's paying attention to the news at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock on a Friday. No, everybody was paying
yeah.
attention. You tried to dump it. You tried to sneak that one past,
When that
and the Bruins
name
got
flies,
called out by
yeah, well,
everybody, including players on their team, their leadership group, their captains, calling out that move. I've never seen something like that before in the NHL.
yeah, yeah. When a name pops up on the ticker like that, people don't just go, "Oh, look, the Bruins signed some guy." What? Like, no, that was to anybody who plays Call of Duty. I equate that to you have 24 kills in a row, and then you decided to cook a grenade and not throw it.
Yeah.
Because that was, oh god, that was absolutely ridiculous. I guess the the nice thing about it is they ultimately just cut him yesterday.
Well,
So
yes and no. Like they announced their parting ways with him, but also he's still, because he signed the contract,
right,
like he is with the Providence Bruins
Providence
in the
Bruins.
AHL and is going to be playing there. On American Beauties, our AHL show, we made the
Yeah.
decision that while Miller is part of the organization there, we're not going to cover Providence.
Hell yeah.
It's such a bad, going back to your grenade analogy, cooking a nade in hardcore with your whole team in the room. Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly what it is.
While
And
you're
they told the front office the locker room didn't like it. Exactly. Like they said they
that's
did their due diligence on it. No, they did not.
no.
And you hear it through the backlash from the players. You hear it through the backlash from the media. You hear it from the press conference where they announced that, maybe we didn't do our homework on this as much as we should have, because they also didn't realize that, one, Miller isn't even eligible to play in the NHL right now per Gary Bettman. Rare Gary Bettman debut on that one.
Dude, I know, right? Like, good for you, Bettman. You finally got a notch in the win column there.
They don't ask how, they ask how many, and Bettman with a rare dub on that one. But
Yeah.
oof, I mean
that was, I mean, if we're being honest, that was kind of the equivalent of an empty net goal there. That's not like look at me, I made an awesome decision.
Yeah.
No shit. That's a decision that needed to be made.
Yeah.
I actually just watched a brief of the press conference too. Like it's like you hear the regret in his voice, but at the same time, like he kind of,
he's not regretting. Yeah.
Right.
He's not regretting he did it. He's regretting they got caught.
He's got some Kyrie Irving tones. If anyone gets that reference, I feel bad for the NHLPA that now has to defend Miller. Do they?
Yeah, they do, because part of what the NHLPA does is labor disputes, and
I get it, but that's one of those things where I think you can. To me,
you still. And that's why begrudgingly is doing a lot of the lifting on that.
Yeah, I guess
they still have to do it, because if you pick and choose who you're going to go to battle for in these labor disputes, you don't have a union.
I mean, that's basically like being Dahmer's lawyer. Like that's you don't want to be doing it, but you sadly have to.
you do, because it upholds the integrity of the overall system, even if you disagree with the merits of the specific case.
Man, that was a really smart way of saying it. Meanwhile, I'm just using.
I'm not a lawyer.
References.
I will make that clear as well. I'm not a lawyer.
You're not? You didn't pass the bar?
I would fail so hard. Like,
how much is it? I want to take the bar without studying just to see how I do.
The people who study law, like in most states, it's like about a 50% pass rate the first time that you take it, maybe. Yep. And that varies from state to state. Me, who has not studied for it, I might get maybe 1 point.
Hey, I want to do it. If it doesn't cost that much
money, I get credit for writing my name at the top of the Scantron.
Yeah, I don't think it's like the ACT or the SAT though, where you automatically get points for that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't understand the thought. But like, I get it. There's all these owners, and some of them just clearly don't, like, all they see is assets, and that's it. They don't see the human behind everything, and like, I just cannot. I don't care there's plenty of billionaires out there and plenty of owners out there that do have at least some semblance of a heart where they would be like, yeah, that's not a good idea. Let's not do that. How
Yeah.
in God's name do you, and all you got to do is type in his name. That's all
Yeah.
you got to do. And all you see outside of obviously the recent events. So like previously to the Bruins signing him and then him, like he had his own statement of how he regrets it, whatever. Like, and even still too, like you listen to the press conference and Neely is just like, oh, I do kind of, and this quote stood out to me too. And it was like, I like to believe I do believe in second chances, but some people just probably don't deserve it. And I'm like, yeah, like I don't care. Like you're in 8th grade. I get it. You're a child still, but you're old enough to know what the hell you're doing and what you're not doing. And
let's make this clear. Like
some of the shit that I read that this douchebag did.
We are for second chances.
Absolutely.
When you have shown a pattern of changed behavior and that you are genuinely remorseful for what you have done.
Yeah.
The fact that Miller has not. What in the world was that?
Morning, Greg.
Janice? Who's Janice?
Yeah, we had an ad pop up in the background from Cat Friendly. Oh, what in the world was that?
Janice?
Top
Janet?
5 weirdest moments on this show.
Janet? Marty? Who are you people?
And Cat Friendly just with a nuke from Boston on this conversation.
Man, that sounds like
I'll leave it with this.
That sounds like a lot of paperwork now.
Miller has not apologized in person to Isaiah. Mm-hmm. He had a court-mandated apology, which he wrote, which the court said they didn't think was sincere. The family does not feel that he has apologized or shown changed behavior until the family accepts an apology and says, yeah, he's changed his behavior. He gets no second chance from me. That's my 2 cents on it.
And to add to that, final statement on it too.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely agree with all of that. He hasn't apologized specifically in person to them. Apparently he sent a Snapchat type of apology. I read. That's not going to cut it, Chief. I don't care what generation we're in. That no.
That doesn't fly.
And again, like, yeah, you haven't apologized. What you did to that kid is even more outside the realm of your typical bullying that you hear. That is just disgusting. And yes, we do believe in second chances, but you need to work your ass off to even earn said second chance. And you haven't done jack shit. So in my eyes, and I think in pretty much everybody's eyes, Mitchell Miller is still the piece of shit that he was in 8th grade. And he's still a piece of shit today. I do the blunt statements. You do the professional statements.
Forgiveness is not owed. It must be offered by the wrong person.
Absolutely.
The person who has been wrong is the only one who can decide if Miller gets a second chance for me. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let's get to ending this show on a much
much happier note.
looking ahead to tomorrow night. Wednesday night picks. Joel was 1-1 last week. I was 2-0. The Buffalo Sabres coming through clutch for us with that win.
Yep.
But then it was Toronto covering on the puck line that helped me out. That one was intense. That Toronto game, it was looking rough for the Maple Leafs, as it has kind of all season, but broke away late. Joel, you're still sitting pretty. Like you're above 500 on the year.
I know.
You still have the all-time lead, but that gap is narrowed, man. I'm down to 4 back on you. And if we disagree on all 4 tomorrow night, I could potentially catch you.
Where's our buddy at? Because I really had so much faith in the Flyers that they could just completely embarrass the Leafs that night.
They had a really rough go of things that night. I was tempted to take Philly too, and I talked myself out of it, and it paid off for me. So we'll see where things are at. We've got 3 money lines and 1 puck line coming up for tomorrow. So little teaser there. But we're going to start with what I think is unquestionably the game of the night. Carolina Hurricanes. Oh, shoot. Hang on. That one's not right. Let's try this again.
It's like, I'm sorry. The Hurricanes are Plus odds? What?
Yeah, hang on, because I had a bad line in here. I
was like, everybody hammer that right now.
Please hold.
Well, while you are holding, yes. I will. I think I might. I don't always toss in a little of the cheddar cheese on our Wednesday night picks. I might, at least on maybe one or two of the games coming up, but I can't do it, or I have to try and do it early because I will be in Minnesota with you, with HP, with all of the groomsmen for Dan Bradley's bachelor party.
Let's go.
But why I'm bringing that up now is that your damn home state still hasn't legalized sports gambling.
Again,
so I have to do it.
That. We are getting to that.
I'm going to keep teasing it because now I have to make my bets while I'm still in Illinois border.
Let's try this again. So first game of the night tomorrow, which I believe is probably the game of the night. Carolina Hurricanes plus 100 at the Florida Panthers minus 120. Joel, these are two very good hockey clubs. They are teams that we thought would be in the mix at the end of the season, potentially to win the Eastern Conference. I have the Canes going all the way. Canes are 8-3-1, Panthers 7-5-1. Marty Nietzsche's off to a heck of a start for Carolina. 7 goals, 10 assists on the season for Carolina. That's a good game. Are you going to take the Carolina Hurricanes at plus 100, or are you going to take the Panthers at home minus 120?
No, I'm absolutely taking the Panthers. Or sorry, the Hurricanes at plus money on the Hurricanes. I don't care. I don't care home or away.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I think that's too good of a value to pass up. 6-3-1 over their last 10, plus 5 goal differential on the season.
Yep.
The loss of Freddie Anderson is definitely a concern. There is the back-to-back element as well, because I believe Carolina is playing tonight. Give me a moment just to check on that. Actually, I take that back. They're not playing tonight. So you have Carolina. Neither team is playing tonight. So both teams coming in fresh for tomorrow's game. This is so tough. I absolutely see the value there with Carolina at plus 100. But Panthers at home, though. Like, the Panthers just don't lose at home anymore.
I get it. I know they don't, but I don't know.
This one to me is a pick'em, and when you're at a pick'em, I go with the home team. That's really what it comes down to for me. I'm going to be different here. I'll say Florida, but man, I that's a must watch. And unfortunately, I will be on the plane flying back during that game. So
I will be able to watch it.
There you go.
I am packing tomorrow.
We mentioned this one earlier in the show. The Pittsburgh Penguins minus 125 at the Washington Capitals plus 105. Anytime we get the Pens and the Caps, you know it's a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Joel, who are you going with here?
That's tough because they are both underwhelming, to say the least, so far. Washington is 500, basically 6-6-2. Pittsburgh 4-6-2, and they're really starting to show that I think their window is closing, or it's pretty much been closed. I don't see Pittsburgh winning any cups anytime soon, but man, last 10 is pretty even too. Well, no, Pittsburgh's is much worse. It's 2-6-2 versus Washington 4-4-2. This is another one of those pick'ems, but it's of not two juggernauts. It's of two kind of middling teams. I guess I'm just going pluses. I'm going with the Capitals.
I was hoping you wouldn't do that. we love a home dog. I'm going to agree with you here. Give me the Caps.
Home dog. You can't really.
Here's the real one. Do you pick on a prop bet Ovechkin to score a goal tomorrow? This is a side bet. We won't count this on the total. It's just does it happen?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you.
He loves playing the Penguins.
Yeah, if he plays, I think he's scoring in that one. We'll both take Caps on this one. The Vancouver Canucks minus 130 at the Montreal Canadiens at plus 110. The Canucks currently underway in Ottawa. They are down 2-1 at the end of the first period.
Yep.
And then Montreal is ahead 2-1 over the Detroit Red Wings in Detroit for that one. So, Joel, for this one tomorrow, the Canucks, really a bad start to the season. Canadians we know we're going to be bad, so we're just going to make it tough for you along the way. Who you got in this one?
God, that's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Vancouver started off horrible. They're starting to put an asterisk around pick it up a little, I guess. Wow, man. That's a riveting matchup tomorrow, isn't it?
I mean, on paper, you look at the rosters for these two teams, the Canucks should win this game by multiple goals. However, the odds for this game, if you're taking Vancouver on the puck line at minus 1.5, plus 180. I don't get how bad Vancouver has been with the talent they have on that team.
And that's why, like, I'm starting to think, like, maybe, just maybe, like, they're starting to slowly, figure it out a little bit. If you really even want to say get their legs under them, even though we're 13, 14 games into the season, like, I don't really feel good about it, but I think I'm going to take the Canucks. I don't feel good about it. I'm even second guessing myself as I'm speaking to you right now, but that's another home dog, though.
I feel like if there is a team that has continued to reward me when I've picked them on Wednesday night picks, it has been Montreal. And maybe that's because I've only picked them really against the Maple Leafs. But I'm going to run with Montreal here. I don't know.
So both of them are playing right now, too.
Yeah.
So both of them are coming
Vancouver's down 2-1, Montreal's up 2-1. So both teams on the second end of a back-to-back.
That's why it's tough, man.
It is. Give me Montreal at home. When in doubt, go with the home team. That's what I'm running with. I picked all home teams so far tonight. I'm going to go with another home team there. And then our last game of the night, this one we are going puck line on this one, not just a straight-up money line. Minnesota Wild minus 1.5 goals at the Anaheim Ducks, plus 1.5 goals, plus 135 on the odds for the Wild, minus 155 on that plus 1.5 goals for Anaheim. Joel, Ducks are bad.
It's very bad.
Really think that they're a team that is, I would say, closer than Chicago in the Connor Bedard sweepstakes right now.
I know, and that's ridiculous because they already have Zegras, Troy Terry.
They have a good core of forwards in place. You throw Bedard in that mix, and like the 2026 Anaheim Ducks will be lethal.
I'm just thinking about 2026.
Yeah, that's not a real year.
Oh God.
It's 4 years away, and it's not a real year.
Oh, man. I mean, you guys seem to be starting to figure things out a bit. Still behind us, by the way.
For now.
I don't care. Us being this high isn't going to last long. Of course, I'm going to gloat about it while it's happening.
Yeah. Well, give about 24 hours here. The Hawks play today?
No, not
no. They're off today.
They haven't played since I think it was Saturday, and they don't play it again until Thursday.
Yeah, Wild had a weird stretch like that too, where like they played on a Thursday and then didn't play again until today.
Is it like that subtle, like mandated bye week thing? That wouldn't happen this early.
That's the weird thing. It wouldn't be this early in the season. So,
go
figure.
With all that said, I've just been seeing the Ducks get completely shellacked quite often lately. Also, I'm pretty sure we had them on a Wednesday night pick, and I definitely picked them, and they screwed me. So,
the big killers for me have been the Jamie Drysdale shoulder injury that's got him out until at least March. And then John Gibson,
Back?
underperform. What?
Is he back?
Drysdale?
No. Wasn't Gibson hurt?
I think so. I think he was a little dinged up, but like he's been back.
It was
He,
just a
he let in.
Okay, he's back. It
He
was
let
my
in
fan.
a midget on his own. His own
I saw that.
teammate was trying to like behind the net,
I saw
and
that.
it ended up on net and passed him in. Just a bad look.
I only asked because I
gotta go with my guys here. I gotta go Minnesota -1.5. I hope that they finally have things figured out. The lack of the grief line has been a big killer. Greenway is finally back, but now Foligno is out. They need that line healthy to be rolling. It's one of the best defensive lines in the league when all those guys are healthy, and it really allows the Wild to run their 4 lines, to let Hartman be effective between Kaprizov and Zuccarello, to let the third line kind of come together with Jost or Steele on the wing, with Marco Rossi and Matt Boldy, or even if you throw Freddie Gaudreau in that mix, like it allows the Wild to do so many more things.
No, I agree.
Healthy. So,
and for all those reasons, I'm with you. Give me
Yeah.
the Wild. Give me the Wild -1.5.
Yep. So recapping our picks here, we're both taking the Wild -1.5. We split on this one. Joel is taking Vancouver at -130. I'm taking the Canadiens at +110. Both taking the Capitals at home at +105. And then Joel is taking the Carolina Hurricanes +100. I'm taking the Florida Panthers at -120. Those are your Wednesday night picks. We will see how close we get. Those are going to be some really good games. I think we kind of undersold too. Like Pens Caps is going to be good. I am
always
absolutely
good. It's always
like
good.
Hurricanes Panthers is for sure game of the night. But like Pens Caps, that'll be good. Vancouver Montreal, like that's a wild card. Those teams you do not know what you're going to get. And then the Ducks, you know what? The Ducks always play the Wild tough. Like they always do. And it seems like no matter how bad things get, like John Gibson will pull out like a 55 save shutout performance. Like I hate it. I'm genuinely nervous for the Wild for that one, especially because they're playing tonight too.
I'm not.
I'm still going with the Wild, but like I had to get that out there too. Like the Ducks play the Wild so tough. Like that's not an easy pick for me to make.
I'm still not that worried about it. The way you guys, what you guys are supposed to be doing, you're probably going to start figuring it out here soon anyway. You start figuring it out against those bad teams. So
yeah, I sure hope you're right.
I don't know if it's going to be like a destruction blowout, but
yeah, I'm hoping like maybe a
4-2,
4-1, 4-2, a 3. I would take a 3-1 game. I would actually. This is going to sound weird. I would rather win 3-1 than 4-2. Because the way that the Wild have been playing defensively, I know it's going to sound weird.
What?
So let me run with my point here before you jump all over me for it.
That damn second goal.
Win 3-1 than 4-2. Same margin of victory for both. But with how the Wild have played defensively and with the struggles that they've had goaltending-wise, limiting a team to 1 goal, even if it's Anaheim, who has struggled across the board this year, only letting up 1 goal, I think, does more for the confidence than having the offense produce good numbers and winning that game 4-2. It sounds weird, I know.
All right, there's logic in there somewhere.
there is.
Not to mention, too, when you're last in the league in goal differential at -22, yep, I'm pretty much going to usually go against you on the puck line.
Yeah,
I got really
2 minutes for roughing because we got to get a wrap on the show here. Joel, would you be so kind as to call up the clock for me?
Yeah. If no one's been paying attention, I think we know what's coming.
Oh, we do. Would you be so?
Oh, hold on. That's not a timer. That was a
no. That's a stopwatch. We should have run that the stopwatch on the Blues segment.
Ready?
That'll work enough, I think.
What?
We'll figure it out. Yeah, there we go.
Ready, 1, 2, 3, and go.
Perfect. Minnesota. I lived in Minnesota for about 27 years.
Mm-hmm.
Spent the formative years of my life in Minnesota. It is a state that, even though it is no longer physically where I live, I still, in a lot of ways, view Minnesota as home. Minnesota, I'm going to need you to get it together on sports betting. Oh my goodness, you are so far behind in that regard. Minnesota is an island when it comes to sports betting because North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, like the states around you are all either passing sports betting legislation or have already passed sports betting legislation. It's a thing. It's already happening. And Minnesota is so far behind the 8 ball. You look at how the Wild are building into being a team that is going to be competing for a cup 3-4 years from now when the Parise Suter buyouts are done. You see the vision that's coming up there. You see the Vikings are 7-1 and surprisingly a team that looks like, hey, maybe they've got a shot to go all in and win this thing.
Fluke.
You have the Timberwolves trying to go all in and swing big for Rudy Gobert, even though that's kind of blown up in their face so far. But it's still a thing that happened. The Twins, we're not going to give the Twins credit. They don't deserve it. We're not going to get into that. That's a 5-minute major for roughing on that one. Minnesota, you have the teams that are on the rise. You have the Lynx that are always good. You have Minnesota United. You need to get on board with this sports betting. It's sports betting. It's so much revenue for the state. It is a massively missed opportunity that could make life better for Minnesotans. Please, I'm begging you, make it happen. The next ballot, sports betting's got to be on it.
I'm right there with you, but, meanwhile, like you said, you're the island. Meanwhile, Illinois it passed and is legal since January. All the apps, everything's available. Plenty of sports books, plenty of sponsored sports books all over the place. FanDuel, DraftKings, Barstool.
Did Illinois get rid of the in-person requirement that they had for a while?
Oh, yeah, that's been gone.
Okay, good.
That ended, actually. I'm sorry. It was legal before January. I'm sorry. It was legal in January, and the in-person thing ended in, I think it was April or something like that. But no, actually, no, it definitely ended sooner than that. Whatever. Meanwhile, Illinois got, let's see, Wrigley Field, a DraftKings sportsbook is being built attached to Wrigley Field. And I don't know if you knew this, there's a FanDuel sportsbook being built in the United Center now for the Hawks and the Bulls. So, yeah, we're having a great time over here, champ.
Unless you're the Bears.
At least we don't. I mean, hey.
And then Wild Talk coming through with one more clutch chirp at the end of the show.
What do you mean? The Packers are the worst team in the league in the division.
They might be the worst in the league when all is said and done.
God, all this hatred for the Blues and the Packers. Oh,
you're just on another level right now.
It's okay. After your fluke 7-1 season, we will be taking the North back where it belongs.
A buddy of mine texted me the other day about like how good the vibes were with this team, and you saw the video of Kevin O'Connell passing out the game balls. You saw shirtless Kirk Cousins dancing on the plane with the chains. And I texted him and I said, if I know Minnesota sports like I think I know Minnesota sports, something is going to happen in the next week or two that is going to completely wreck the vibes that this team has. And the Vikings are going to finish like 7-8-1 or 7-9-1, 8-8-1. Struggle to make the playoffs, backpedal their way into it, and just implode the season because that's how Minnesota sports works. And then I saw Adam Schefter doing the Kirk Cousins impression on Monday Night Football, and I went, yep, there it is. That is what is going to throw off the vibes. Kill it for the Wild. I did it again. The Viking season. That's what it was. It was the Schefter moment where he was pretending to be a shirtless Kirk Cousins with the chains. It's over. It's done. Down the tubes for the Vikings. That's the moment. Like you mark this day on your calendars. If things blow up for Minnesota,
it was because of Adam Schefter's shirtless.
It's because of Adam Schefter.
Hey, that's fine. You can your quarterback can dance shirtless and bound in chain or with a bunch of chains on an airplane. Ours is breaking rushing records. So
cool. A quarterback breaking rushing records. Talk to me when he's breaking passing records.
Okay, settle down, Mr. 1989 over there.
That is it for tonight's show. Thank you to everybody who joined us tonight. We are live most Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock, but we're going to be off for the next couple of weeks here. We've got On the Road for Bachelor Party that will take out next week's show. The week after that is American Thanksgiving for all our Canadian listeners. So we will not
We
have
eat a lot of
show.
food. That's how we get so fat here in America.
Won't have a show that week. I'm going to stuff my face. I'm excited.
Same.
So I'll be out of town. I'll be in Maryland. We've got the weekends for Michelle and I. It's bachelor party this weekend, wedding shower the following weekend, and then Thanksgiving. So busy weeks coming up. So we are going to be off for a couple weeks. Let me look at the calendar and get the exact date that we'll be back.
While you're looking that up, everyone will
The
miss us, I
29th.
know. Yep. And while you're looking that up, before we close out, what is the best Thanksgiving side for you, Dan?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm a big fan of stuffing. I think for me that's a favorite. In recent years, green bean casserole has moved its way up the list.
The fuck is wrong with you?
It's good. But if you get mixing the corn with the mashed potatoes, hit it with the gravy.
Well, all right. First, it's definitely mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes wins always. Also, 2 hot takes: ham over turkey, 10 out of 10. 10 times out of 10. Ham over turkey all day. And the other hot take: no gravy. No gravy.
I'm hitting you with the mute button.
That's how
that is it. We got to put a wrap on it. That's it for tonight's show. Thank you to everybody who tuned in and watched. We will be back on November 29th with our next episode. But before then, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow on Twitter at Celly, and on Facebook. You can search there as well. Drop a review as well on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts if you're listening on demand. We always appreciate that. Thank you to Noob Sports and the Sports 2.0 Network. Joel, I'm going to put one last smile on your face because MN Wild Talk says ham.
Hell yes! Dude, MN Wild Talk and I are best friends now.
There you go. What a good note to end the show on. He's Joel. I'm Dan. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.